Today I'm going to give you guys the best dinosaur or reptile in its own category. What I mean by best, I don't mean base appeal. That would be really easy to do. For instance, the Mosasaurus has the highest base appeal in the entire game at 2500, covered by my camera. However, it also costs a lot of money. So what I took into consideration is how much the dinosaur costs for its base appeal. Sometimes it comes down to how easy it is to unlock the dinosaur through research and your park rating, and also more specifically the dinosaur's environmental needs. So I picked a dinosaur in each category. Sometimes the category is the dinosaurs family, for instance hadrosaurs or ceratopsids. Other times I picked, for instance with the carnivores, how big the carnivore is, from extra small, medium and large. And I'm also going to give you the best marine reptile and flying reptile. In a different video, I might also take into consideration the space needs of the dinosaur, because that is a completely different category. Some dinosaurs have amazing appeal for their cost, but they do need a lot of space. So subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution 2 content if you'd like to see it in the future. Like this video if you found it useful or at least enjoyable, and comment down your favorite dinosaur from this video in the comment section below. Now I'm going to start with the herbivores. We're gonna go for the flying reptiles and marine reptiles and then the carnivores. But I'm not gonna start with the smallest herbivores first. Now if you have played this game before, you know that ceratopsids are a bitch to research. They have such complicated research objectives. It's not even about the park rating, the cost, or the scientists. It's random things like having certain populations or dinosaurs with different traits. But there is one ceratopsid that is unlike the other, and it's most likely because of a bug. And that is... where are you, my boy? The Pachyrhinosaurus. The Pachyrhinosaurus is the only ceratopsid that doesn't have very complicated research requirements. In fact, just to show you, actually I cannot show you because I'm in creative mode, but if I could show you, the Pachyrhinosaurus needs ankylosaur research instead of the other stupidly difficult ceratopsid research stuff. The Pachyrhinosaurus, just like ceratopsids in general, have really bad appeal ratings for their costs. It's actually really horrendous. And funnily enough, the Pachyrhinosaurus not only is the best appeal for its cost in its own category, you also only need around 1 star rating for your park and a couple of scientists to research it. So it's really, really cost effective in its own category. It's really easy to research. It's really early to get. So the Pachyrhinosaurus wins the ceratopsid category. There. When it comes to hadrosaurs, there isn't a clear winner. However, the best appeal for its cost, so the most cost-effective hadrosaur, is indeed the giant Olorotitan. You can get other hadrosaurs that are available much earlier. For instance, the Corythosaurus and the Parasaurolophus, available at half a star with decent appeal rating. However, if you are a bit more patient, at 1.5 stars, you can unlock the Olorotitan. It is a larger dinosaur, and it has a not very expensive environmental needs, but it does need forest and whatever, like ground leaf. However, if you buy the Olorotitan, you won't be disappointed. When it comes to ankylosaurids, just by its name, probably the coolest ankylosaurids is the ankylosaur itself. However, the ankylosaur actually is not the best ankylosaurid, funnily enough, for how much it costs. There is another one that is a little bit better, And not only that, but the Ankylosaur, you need to have a 3.5 park star rating, so it's kind of a late game dinosaur. However, the Euplocephalus only needs a 2-star park rating. It has a little bit more base rating, as I said. Easy to research. It doesn't have that crazy environmental needs. It's pretty normal. So in this category, it's this one. Ankylosaurids have pretty good appeal for their cost. Pretty good appeal for their space effectiveness as well. So it's nothing really, crazy. The Euplocephalus is alright. The most difficult dinosaur to pick in its own category was actually the Stegosaurid. Don't get me wrong, the Stegosaur itself, just like the Ankylosaur, its own category, is probably the coolest Stegosaur. I really, really like it. However, you need 3.5 park star rating to unlock the Stegosaur, and its appeal rating is really good too for its cost. However, there are much better dinosaurs. There are not better, but they are much more easily accessible at the beginning of the game, indeed. And there are 2 of them. Okay, there are 2 Stegosaurs available at 0 stars for research, and it's really difficult to pick between these 2. One of them is the Kentrosaurus. The Kentrosaurus only needs a 2 population minimum, so it's having a low population minimum is great. You can buy more if you want, and the Kentrosaurus also has low area needs, even if you buy more of them. However, the Kentrosaurus needs a whooping around 70% fiber and 24% forest on top of that, so it's probably more, it's not probably, but for some dinosaurs it's actually more expensive to buy the area and the environment around them than the actual dinosaur. And not only that, but when it comes to population, base appeal, like I said, doesn't really count. However, it did count here. Kentrosaurus only has 51 base appeal. The other dinosaur, as you can see on my screen, was available at 0 stars for research, is the Wuerhosaurus. DLC dinosaurs are actually pretty good, except the new marine ones. So I guess pay to win. The reason why I picked the Wuerhosaurus, the downside, besides when it comes to the Kentrosaurus, is that you do need 4 Wuerhosauruses as a minimum population. They do cost more, much more than the Kentrosaurus. It's a bigger investment. However, the reason is Wuerhosaurus needs less environmental needs at whatever, like, I don't know, it doesn't need 70% fiber and 24% forest. It just needs less fiber and then less ground leaves or something like that. I don't really remember. And if you think about it, like, the Wuerhosaurus has 91 base appeal compared to the 50 of the Kentrosaurus, so it is a bigger investment, but at the end of the day, with the 4 Wuerhosauruses, you will have a little bit less than, or like, I don't know, like 360 appeal total, whereas if you buy like the similar amount in terms of money, like 8 Kentrosauruses, you're just not gonna have space for 8 Kentrosauruses, Jesus Christ, because you're just gonna need 70% ground fiber, and that's just way too expensive for the Kentrosaurus. However, I do prefer the Kentrosaurus as a dinosaur when it comes to its looks. Now, when it comes to sauropods, they are really expensive, and compared to the however much you need to sink into them, they are not really appealing compared to their cost. There's only really 2 that come to mind that are available at the not the very beginning of the game, because Amargasaurus just sucks for its appeal, for its cost. At 1.5 stars, you can unlock Nigersaurus and Camarasaurus. And the reason why I picked Camarasaurus, it's actually a really cool little balancing that the devs put in. If it was intentional, then well done, Frontier devs. Camarasaurus has much better appeal for its cost. Much, much better. 50% more than the Nigersaurus. However, the Nigersaurus has a much better space effectiveness, whereas the Camarasaurus has one of the lowest space effectiveness, because this dinosaur needs a lot of space. What you also need to know, however, is that for whatever reason, even though they enjoy company of other dinosaurs, you only need one Camarasaurus minimum population. So if you just need one, even though it has space requirements, high space requirements, you only need one of it. So yeah, Camarasaurus 1.5 star sauropod, way to go. Also, when I was a kid, this was my favorite dinosaur too. Now, when it comes to Pachycephalosaurids, so the dinosaurs with the big bony heads, there's 3 of them, but all of them kind of suck for their appeal divided by their cost, okay? But there is actually a 4th Pachycephalosaurid that everybody, including me, seems to always forget about. And that is... Wait, I'm in the wrong exhibit. And that is the Homelocephale. Now, there is a huge caveat when it comes to this dinosaur, and that is how to research it. Either, depending on the park you build, this dinosaur is going to be either annoying to research for, or just straight up impossible. Because to get the Homelocephale, you need to have a population of 40 with your dinosaurs. Now, if you have a park full of large carnivores, you're just never gonna reach that. You might as well create a altogether different exhibits with like 30 Struthiomimuses to unlock this dinosaur, plus the 10 large carnivores you already had, because it's just so difficult. However, if you have a park with a bunch of like Gallimimuses and Struthiomimuses and Dryosaurs and whatever, it's gonna be much easier to get this dinosaur. And the reason why I picked Homelocephale instead of the Pachy or the Stygiomyloc is because the Homelocephale has really low base rating, but it's extremely cheap. So funnily enough, the Homelocephale has around or more than twice the appeal for its cost in this game. So even with Stygimoloch, the best one out of the other 3 patches, it has more than double the base appeal for its cost. It's incredibly good. It has an incredibly good appeal in this category, in this really bad category. Now, when it comes to the final herbivore category, the Ornithomimosaurids, so basically like Gallimimus and the sort, we don't have that many dinosaurs in this category, only 3. However, you probably already know which dinosaur this is. This is the dinosaur I hate the most because it's just so cost effective that you have to get it. This is the dinosaur where, if you've never played Sandbox on low, which means $3 million starting money, this is the only dinosaur that you can get to realistically make it through the early game. And even with this dinosaur, if you get a particularly bad storm, you might as well still go bankrupt. However, the dinosaur I'm talking about, and by the way, people forget that you only need a minimum population of 3 with this dinosaur. That's why I cannot find it, because I only made 3 of them. Is obviously the Struthiomimus. The Struthiomimus is the most broken dinosaur in the entire game. It's so cheap that its environment cost of having like forest around it and ground leaf is more expensive than the actual stupid dinosaur. It's crazy cheap, very low base appeal, but it doesn't matter. It might as well have like, it has a 14 base appeal, guys. It's extremely unappealing. But even if it had like 10, it would be the best thing to buy in the early game, because you can just open your park and it's really safe to buy this. You can buy 40 of these and just sell them to unlock the Homelocephale in the previous point. Extremely good dinosaur. Bunch of other stuff you can do with it too. You can get them sick purposefully, so you can unlock the unsick trait for the other dinosaurs. Really good. The most broken dinosaur in the entire game, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to flying reptiles, one of my favorite creature in this game and forever is basically the Quetzalcoatlus. It's such a cool creature, and it is really, really good. It has a really good appeal for its cost. It has an extremely high base appeal. Really expensive, but it's still really good appeal for its cost. And it's actually the dinosaur with the highest appeal for how much space it needs. It's incredible. Like, it's a really, really large dinosaur with an incredibly high appeal, but you don't need that much space for it. However, I picked a different flying reptile instead of the Quetzalcoatlus. One that is much, much smaller, and it's less of a risk, right? Money risk to unlock it. You can unlock it earlier. Or actually, no, I think it's the same unlock. It's literally the same as the Quetzalcoatlus, but I'm talking about the Barbaridactylus. You do need 3 of these creatures as a minimum population. However, again, it's much cheaper. It has really, really high appeal for its cost. It's actually higher than the Quetzalcoatlus if you convert it using this dinosaur's cost. And I think this is a DLC flying reptile as well, so I guess it's pay to win. Well, it would be for the Quetzalcoatlus anyways. The Barbaridactylus is pretty good for its appeal. Not very distinct. It kind of looks like the Pteranodon. But the other reason I picked the Barbaridactylus is because the Quetzalcoatlus has a really whopping 75% chance of being intolerant. And again, intolerancy, it needs more, bigger environment if it's with other dinosaurs and it doesn't like other dinosaurs as much. It doesn't really matter because the Quetzalcoatlus doesn't need that much space for depending, compared to its appeal. However, it does sour it a little bit in my mouth that it has the intolerance trait 75% of the time, whereas the Barbaridactylus doesn't. Now, when it comes to cost effectiveness, the best creature, not just in carnivore categories or herbivore, dinosaurs, reptiles, the single best creature that you can buy that has a really high appeal rating for its cost is, funnily enough, the Attenborosaurus. It's very cheap for its high base appeal, and it's quite frankly, lagoon, so marine reptiles have a really high base rating, and that is because you need to spend a lot of money to unlock the lagoon, the freaking lagoon hatchery, and the lagoon viewing gallery. And you need to achieve a 2-star park rating to even begin. But in that really high category of just like marine reptiles, the Attenborosaurus wins out. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't have enough open space for these guys because I ran out. So make sure to buy at least, what is this, 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 whatever sections if you have like 5 Attenborosauruses. But I'm pretty sure the minimum population is only 3. So yeah, best dinosaur in the entire game when it comes to its cost effectiveness. It's actually pretty crazy. Let's jump into carnivores, the final category, the coolest category probably. There is actually a 4th category for carnivores, so it's not just large, medium, and small. There is also extra small carnivores. And extra small carnivores are really cost effective. They have a high base appeal compared to how much they cost. And in that category, the king of this small mound is actually the Compsognathus, believe it or not. The Compsognathus is actually not that easy to unlock because you do have to have a 2-star park rating to unlock this creature, and there are easier ones to get, like the Coelophysis and the Sinosauropteryx are available at half a star, incredibly early, and even Moros intrepidus, the small chicken T-Rex, is available at 1 star. However, the reason I picked the Compsognathus at available at 2-star park rating is because it has a extremely high, like I said, it has a high appeal for its cost, but it's extremely high. In fact, the most cost-effective carnivore, every single carnivore, land carnivore category, is the Compsognathus. So that's why this tiny little dinosaur is here. Where are the other ones, actually? Oh, there it was. It's worth saying that I almost never buy extra small carnivores because it's just really annoying to deal with them, and it's not very fun because they are so tiny that you can rarely see them. If they get sick, it's really annoying because there's like 14 of them to cure. But yeah, they are really cost effective. Funnily enough, the Compsognathus is not very space effective. If you are looking for an extra small carnivore when it comes to space effectiveness, buy either the Sinosauropteryx or the Oviraptor instead. Now, when it comes to the small carnivore category, I also had a lot of issues. One of the best ones is the Troodon. At 1 star, you can unlock the Troodon and also another carnivore. However, the reason why I picked, instead of the Troodon, the Herrerasaurus. Wait, where are you? The reason why I picked the Herrerasaurus is because you only need 3 Herrerasauruses as a minimum population as opposed to the 4 with the Troodon. And there was a really cool trait reason why I picked the Herrerasaurus. And for one, the Troodon comes with the short-lived trait, and it doesn't really matter because for some reason long-lived is the single best trait in the entire game, and you have that unlocked at the very beginning of the game. I don't even know why. That should be the last thing you unlock, to be honest. So the Troodon does come with short-lived. It's really easy to remedy because you do have the long-lived trait to offset it. But what the Herrerasaurus has that almost no other dinosaur has is it can naturally come with the strong trait. And the reason why the strong trait is really important, especially if you are going to have a carnivore park, is because some large carnivores require you to release dinosaurs with the strong trait. So unless you want to have like a gamble on winning dinosaur fights and unlocking the strong traits, if that's how you unlock it, I think that's how you unlock it at the very least, you can just buy a couple of Herrerasauruses, they come with a strong trait, and bam, you unlocked your favorite large carnivores already. So I really like this dinosaur. Also, personal reason, there's not many Triassic era dinosaurs. Yeah, this is the Triassic one, and then Troodon is the Cretaceous one. I always mix them up. I really like these early ancient primal dinosaurs. Now, when it comes to the medium carnivore category, it's again a DLC dinosaur, so again pay to win. And as you can see, it's our favorite feathered T-Rex or Tyrannosaurid, but I guess all of them were feathered. The Eutyrannus. The Eutyrannus is the most cost-effective medium carnivore. It has the highest base appeal compared to its cost. And not only that, guys, but the Eutyrannus is the most space-effective carnivore as well. You do need 3 of them as a minimum population. However, it has an extremely high appeal rating for how much space it needs. It's not even close. Even in the entire game, what you need to know about medium carnivores is that medium carnivores is generally the category with the cost of the space effectiveness. And by the way, when I talk about carnivores, the piscivores, the baryonyx, Suchomimus, and Spinosaurus, I also count as carnivores because it makes a little bit more sense in my head. So unfortunately, we didn't pick the baryonyx in this category, but the Eutyrannus, because this dinosaur is extremely broken, quite frankly. It has a really high base appeal. Now, the last and final and probably most exciting category is the large carnivore, which is the best large carnivore to get. I do love the Tyrannosaurus, and so do you, don't lie to yourself. However, what's really interesting is at the exact same time, or maybe not the exact same research, but the same time, you unlock the Tyrannosaurus. I think it's the exact same research actually. There is one other large carnivore that you do unlock that has a really high appeal rating for its cost. Not quite as high as it. Actually, I lied to you. Okay, the reason why I picked this dinosaur, it has a lower appeal rating than the Tyrannosaurus, but you unlock it earlier, and it's much easier to unlock because to unlock the T-Rex, you need to have 3 strong dinosaurs. Again, the Herosaurus is useful in that category. And you also need to win fights, and winning fights is just an RNG fest all day. To unlock the large carnivore that I actually picked, you don't need to win any fights with your dinosaurs, so it's available earlier. You only need to release a couple of strong traded dinosaurs. And so the dinosaur that I picked... Where are you? It was actually right behind me. This whole time it was right behind me. It's of course the Giganotosaurus. Again, a little bit lower appeal for its cost, but available earlier. And I just really like it. And also it's much better. It has a much better space effectiveness than the T-Rex. With that being said, I do love the T-Rex and the other large carnivores, so no hate, please. So yeah, these are the best dinosaurs in their own categories. Like and subscribe for more. Comment your favorite dinosaur from this video in the comment section below. And let me know what you think. Bye!